Hey, everyone. Thanks so much for being with us. Very honored to have Stephen Fleming here today. Stephen, thanks so much for being with us.
Hey, Doug. No, it's an absolute pleasure. Really good to be here.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to this all day going through. Well, Stephen, as I like to start, is just giving everybody watching this just a little background, right? They're seeing this amazing man in front of us. Anybody that's had any interaction with you knows that. But where were you before the powerful man? What was going on in your life?
So I think I was just kind of going around. I feel like I was going around in circles. I've been married for about 5 years, and about a year or so back, it just particularly felt like I was kind of like floundering on all fronts. My marriage wasn't going so great. My work was sort of felt like I was stagnating and losing motivation and energy there. Everything I kind of had fallen off with myself. And I think I just felt in a way that I'd lost myself. That's probably the best summary in terms of everything. I kind of had lost the sense of who I was and what my purpose was and what I was into. Even if you asked me what I was into, I wouldn't have been able to really tell you.
Mhm.
And I started listening to the podcasts last year, and something just seemed to click. And realizing that maybe it's not just me that's feeling like this.
It's so common, right? As men, especially, we just assume it's us, right? We're the only ones because
Yeah,
as guys, well, unless we're at the pub, we're not really talking about anything that's going on. It's, we're talking about sport or business, well, you as a business leader, probably mostly business. That's
yeah.
certainly I can fall into that. And yeah, it's just so easy to get caught up in that cycle, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And like you say, the way that we're sort of brought up is just to kind of like, keep your mouth shut and just carry on and just keep your head down and work harder and try harder. And it just sort of grinds away at you, I think, over time.
Yeah,
Not that,
especially that vision that we get as businessmen of, hey, if you just grind away, have a successful business, you're going to be happy. Your wife will be happy. Your kids will be happy. Everybody will look up to you and love you and admiration. It
yeah,
doesn't exactly pan out that way, does it?
not at all, no. And I very much was in that, having sort of started my own business 8 years ago. Every time I was just thinking, yeah, if only another, give it another 6 months, another year. When we get to this point, then it'll be okay. Then it'll get easier at home. Then I can take time off. Then I can do this. And it, things did develop and improve, certainly financially, but it didn't solve anything else.
Yeah, well, it doesn't. And it's funny. We have, the kind of that saying, wherever you go, there you are. Right.
Mm.
And we're always looking for things outside, but really it's the inside parts that has the most effect.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. And I should have known that because I saw that with my parents, their marriage. We moved a lot when I was a kid. And every time as I got older, I realized it's because my parents would have a massive relationship ending fallout.
mhm.
They'd reconcile it somehow, and then we'd move house. And then it happened again. And that sort of fresh start thing that they kept trying just never, not surprisingly, never worked because they were always there. The problem was always there because it was them.
Yeah.
So exactly that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I know I saw it for myself as well, but we always think, at least I did, and I don't know if it's for you. We always think our situation's totally unique, right? But for me, it's different. And then just 3 months from now, if I just wait this out, then it'll all change and it'll all be good,
Yeah.
or when my wife figures out and corrects the problems that she's doing, everything's going to be amazing.
Yeah, I've had those thoughts a lot. It's like, when that's it. When they stop doing that, then it will be good. When they realise, and that generates anger and some frustration in yourself, which again just adds to the downward spiral. It was for me anyway.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Well, I've got to witness your journey, obviously, going through the activation method and continuing on through the
Hmm.
programs and the brotherhood. So, tell us a little bit about some of the changes that you experienced while going through the program and afterwards.
Yeah, I mean it was definitely. I mean, one thing going into the activation method, I listened to the podcasts over the course of last summer when I was doing a lot of driving for work, and just I eventually got to the point where I thought I've got to jump in on this,
Yeah.
which isn't like me actually. I kind of very much someone that sort of listens and I think you referred to it as educational masturbation at the time. Listen a
Yeah.
lot and don't take action. And then I was away on a few days away with my sons, and I just thought I've got got to jump. And I just pushed the button and got on a call with Ryan and got signed up for the activation method. Got talked to Ryan, talked to Tim, got signed up with it then. At the time, I didn't really get why it was called the activation method. And I didn't really get that until almost the end. And the last sort of week we did it and we were talking, and I just felt, by that point, I was feeling really excited and engaged and enthusiastic about the future. And I remember saying on the last group call that we did there, that I was like, yeah, I understand it now. I feel activated.
Yep.
And I think that's the transformation I felt from that, was realizing, and learning, the importance of changing my life to do things and having the courage to go, I'm not just going to work. I'm going to take some time for me. I'm not just going to put all my spare time into my relationship, because that, I think I realized for me, I've got sort of a lot of nice guy type tendencies where I'll just put myself as a second to my wife the whole time. And everything is around what she wants, and that's what she wants, that's what I want. And I kind of came to the realization that wasn't serving me at all. It wasn't serving her either. So it was those kind of changes and shifting to concentrating on looking after me, my own health, physical and mental as well, which I'd neglected for years. And stop lying to myself. I've been telling myself, oh yeah, I'm fit and active, I'm good at this, I'm good at that, and just telling myself, actually, you've got to do something. So those are kind of the main differences for me, really.
Well, and the key here is you took action, right? You took action, obviously getting on a call with Ryan, one of our advisors and alumni, who is an awesome guy, as well as talking to Tim, but we'll leave Tim out of this.
Yeah.
But then you took action in the program and afterwards, right? Like you said, you said, hey, look, I'm just going to be honest with myself, not beat myself up, but just be honest. And from that point of honesty, then you can take action and make decisions that best suit your needs.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think that was a refreshing change. The other thing was being part of that process in the activation method, where I was there with a group of other people with the same problems, and there was no judgment. You could say whatever you wanted, share what you wanted. No one was going to say, no one's going to rubbish your life or what was happening. And really great support from the other guys going through it, but also from the coaches as well, which made a massive difference. And accountability, I feel I'm one of those people that needs a bit of accountability.
Me too.
Being driven to say, okay, every week you've got to report back on how it's been, what you've done, what worked, what didn't, what you're going to do. That for me has always made a big difference. I'm exactly that kind of person. If you tell me what to do, I'll go and do it, and I'll report back when I've done it. But if you just say, right, just go and live your life, then I'll procrastinate and fritter it away. So the accountability was a big thing for me.
Yeah, well, you had Mark as your coach, right? Going through it.
Yeah.
And Mark, most of our coaches have almost, individually 20 years experience each going through there. So there's no hiding, right? You can't just, whereas you do it on your own, you read a book or listen to an audio book, you can go, well, I'll just do that tomorrow or someday or what have you, or you have to do it. Mark and the other guys, they're not going to let you get away with that, right?
No, that's it. And then there's something about Mark and about Arthur as well, that, you sort of feel that they're so friendly and they've been down the same road that you've been down, which I think is so important. They've been there too, and they're friendly and supportive. But there's something in their eye that you think, if I don't do what they're telling me to do, I could be in big trouble here. But no, just I'm joking. But they are just, they're there, but they're serious when they need to be. But serious because it's important for me. Not serious because they're saying you've got to do this because they got to tick boxes. It's because they care and they're concerned about the process, and they say, this is serious, you've got to do these things, otherwise stuff won't change. So they're obviously very invested in the whole thing, which is fantastic, because that'll help me to move along as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we keep the groups really small, right? Obviously, it'd be easier for us just to have big groups, but you would miss that intimacy and the ability for the coaches really to see. People would slip through, and keeping the group super small, there is no slipping through going through there.
No, that's it. It's good. It works. I did feel at times like, oh gosh, it's just me talking all the time. But then I realized that's because of the small group. You get plenty of space to talk, which is exactly what's needed.
Yeah.
And it really does feel like a weight. As we were going through that, it just felt like weight lifting. And I couldn't quite put my finger on it sometimes, but once or twice on the weekly calls, there'd be something maybe one of the other guys had brought to the table. And everyone just felt so energized afterwards. There was one week I did the call and then I went for my personal training session and I just absolutely destroyed the gym. I was all over it. I was so fired up. And it's not usually like me. I'm always like, oh, I'm going to go and work out. And my trainer was just like, what have you been on today? What have you taken? You know, it's just, I was so fired up from it. And that was me feeling, yeah, this is the process. This is me becoming activated, feeling engaged in the world and in life, which I think was slipping away before.
Yeah, I mean, the idea of being deactivated, right? No one thinks they are. And it's kind of the way I describe it. And let me know if this sounds familiar to you is, and I've seen this in my previous life, is if somebody's, 60, 70 pounds overweight, I'm not sure what that is in stone, but is heavily overweight. So excuse me. Until they lose the weight, they didn't realize the limitations that they put upon themselves. They didn't realize that it's effortless to go up the stairs or go for a jog or all of these things. And it seems to me that when guys go from deactivated to activated, it's almost as if, we always talk about the rose colored glasses. You've been walking around with rose tinted sunglasses your whole life, and somebody comes over and just takes them off. And all of a sudden you can see all the colors and you realize what's possible.
Yeah, I definitely resonate with that. And it's that feeling of, that switch from feeling that you've got to push to do things. Oh, I need to go out for a run. I need to exercise. I need to eat well. To being like, yeah, I'm going to go for it because I feel great and I want to feel even better. I want to eat well because it makes me feel good. I'm treating myself by being good, rather than, oh, I've got to go on a diet to lose weight or I've got to go and exercise. And that's it's an energy shift, I think, because you have the energy, you suddenly have the energy to do it. And it's like a snowball rolling downhill. It just gets, momentum picks up and keeps going.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's perfect. Some days that it doesn't happen, and some days it doesn't work out. But the other thing I've learned from all of this is just not to beat myself up about it too much, and to go, okay, I think Mark or Arthur said this thing about failing forward, that you're not an imperfect progress, and that you just keep on moving, but you recognize. And that the other thing I've got is I recognize now when I go wrong. I can see now the way that I show up at home. If I'm in a bad mood, guess what? Everyone's in a bad mood, and the day doesn't generally go very well. Yeah. So, I know that, and I can recognize and say, okay, I'm going to take myself out of that situation for a bit and try and recalibrate. And sometimes even that's hard, but at least I can go back in and acknowledge that to my wife and my kids and go, look, sorry guys, I'm just not feeling it today for whatever reason. But in the past, I would have just got defensive and started arguing and fighting and, a mess. So that self-awareness is another big thing I think that's come through from the program.
Yeah, well, you mentioned your wife. I love that. I love all of it. And you mentioned your wife and your kids. Has your relationship with them changed at all?
Yeah, I think it has. I mean, it's with my wife, it's definitely, the lines of communication are way more open than they have been previously.
Awesome.
I think we were, we've had far more connected and meaningful conversations about all sorts of stuff. We always talked a lot, and I always thought, we were great communicators. But the stuff we're talking about is more personal and deeper, and come away from it feeling far more connected and closer, which is great, rather than feeling like we're maybe starting to head in different directions. With my kids and with my wife as well, I think I used to be really grumpy around the house and very short-tempered, and I'm not like that so much anymore. It still occasionally happens, but mostly I'm more fun. I'm just more fun to be around, and I've had feedback from Jane on that. She's actually said, yeah, you're nothing like as grumpy as you used to be. She's never going to just say, yeah, you're not grumpy at all. She's always going to push me a bit on that. And she's also sort of fed back without any prompting at all. Said, look at all the things you've done in the last 6 months or so since you've done this, in terms of, I took up running again, business is growing, lots of different things in different aspects. And she listed them off without me even mentioning them to her. So, that's the external validation, really.
Which is huge, right? Because it's like any journey you're on, you start to see, you don't see the changes yourself as much. And oftentimes our partners, especially if things in the relationship aren't really good, will hold back, right? They'll just nitpick a little bit. But then when your partner comes back to you and says, hey, look, the last 6 months, you've been growing in all of these areas. You may have come in to work on one particular area, But it's kind of weird, isn't it, that all of a sudden the business starts growing and the relationships are good, the health gets growing
Yeah.
in such
Yeah.
a short period of time.
Yeah. It's not a coincidence. You just sort of realize that the same issues are actually affecting, cutting across everything. And that's not to say, she's not going to sit back and say, yeah, you're amazing now. There's still a lot. She's a hard taskmaster, but that's what I love about her.
Yep.
That's why I'm with her, because, she's strong that way, strong-willed, and she wants the best for herself and for the kids and for me and for everyone. And, I get accountability and drive from there as well.
Yeah. Well, strong men marry strong women. That's
Ooh.
what I've seen time and time again, my friend. It sounds like that's your case too.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Well, that's amazing. And when you went on to, obviously go into the Brotherhood, which is the 1 year mastermind group that we have. What based your decision on that?
I think I was so fired up at the end of the activation method that I was like, yes, what's next? What's next? And I'd sort of, Brotherhood had been alluded to by Mark in the activation method training. And I was sort of thinking, yeah, I really like the sound of this. But they said, oh, not everyone gets invited to join in on this. And I'm thinking like a little boy, well, I hope I get asked. And then when I got the call to say, we'd really like you to join, I was so elated with it. But it was really I wanted to be in, to keep going, because I could see the progress I'd made. And I didn't want it to stop, because when the activation method finished, I suddenly did feel a little bit of a sense of loss, that it was like, oh, I've gotten really into having this weekly accountability calls and everything going through there, and the camaraderie and stuff. And some of that kept going, of course, but I wanted more. I wanted to keep on the journey and keep on running. And that's, the Brotherhood is giving that. I've been in there since the start of the year, and that's giving me that and loads more. And I know there's loads more that's still coming, and there's things, still to do, as part of that. But it's great to just have and actually an even more engaged group, because I think, one or two of the guys in the activation method group I was in, maybe it wasn't things were happening in their life, wasn't quite the right time for them. But everyone that's in the Brotherhood, because it's that next stage on, is really engaged with it, and there's an even bigger, higher level of support and encouragement, and zero judgment as well. That's the other thing that I just love about it. You can put out whatever you want in there, and people are going to support and not judge.
Yeah, I was talking to Austin McGinnis, who's also in the Brotherhood, and so he said, but one of the things he said was, you're the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with, and he knew that, and he took a glimpse around the Brotherhood and said, this is who I want to become, and if I spend time with these guys, essentially, I'm going to be on the right path.
Yeah, I think that's true. And when I first came in, I sort of felt, I think I said to some of the guys, I feel like the new boy in school. I've gone to big school now, and I'm the little kid that doesn't know anything. But I think I was listening to, I think it was David Goggins' audiobook the other week, and he was talking about putting yourself in the uncomfortable situation of not knowing anything. That you're the learner in the class again. You're at the bottom of the class. You've got to start again. And I feel that's important with this, because I'm learning from all the guys in there. And I'm not saying that I'm at the bottom of anything, but there's a great group of people in there who know a bit more than me, know a lot more than me, know different things from me, and everyone's sharing and encouraging. And I was taken aback last week when Lee, one of the guys in there, who's as helps with the accountability side of things.
Yep.
We were talking sort of business stuff, and he said about something he was doing in his business, and I said, "Oh, that's great." And he said, "I'm doing this because I'm inspired by what you're trying to do with yours. I want to have the same goal." And I was just like, "Hang on a second." I thought there was kind of a pupil teacher type thing going on here, but it just been flipped on its head.
Yeah.
And that's just, that just shows that everyone is feeding off it. Mm-hmm. And as you say, the thing about the 5 people that you should spend time with, this is a group of people I've never had the honor to spend time with. And I do feel every day that I just have to jump on the group and look, and I get inspired and motivated to keep going and to do better, which is brilliant.
Yeah, the crazy thing for me as well, and just seeing your tremendous progress and contributions in the group, as with everybody, is, you joined and have been in during the COVID times, right? During lockdown, right? So it's been 100% virtual for you, and yet you're still, you can see the excitement in you and the passion going through.
It's been great. I mean, I did manage to. I did meet Tim in person just before Christmas when he actually came queued at my shop for about an hour to buy some cheese from him. We had a bit of a chat, but yeah, it's my only frustration, and it's a COVID frustration, is that I'm absolutely desperate to do an alpha reset, but I know that because of COVID that hasn't been able to happen. But everything else is kind of like making more than making up for it. The sense of community, even though it's all virtual, is superb.
Just wait, my friend. We've got the dates nailed down for your alpha
Excellent.
reset. So it's coming your way, as well as a brotherhood event, which you'll love.
Yeah,
Uh,
cool.
well, Stephen, in retrospect, right? Hindsight is 2020, right? You can always see in the past clear, but if you were able to travel back in time and talk to yourself, what would you say?
I would have said to myself, seek out some of this information damn sight sooner than I did. I think it's the thing about not constantly trying to please other people, about not forgetting that I'm important too. I think that's the thing about setting my own priorities and not to put so much validation on my career and my work that at the end of the day, that's not going to give you everything you need. Because prior to me being a business owner, I put so many years and hours into working for other people, way beyond what I was expected to do, for no benefit. So, then that's part of why I think I lost myself to a degree.
Sure.
That the focus on me is important, and not to let that go. And also the importance of friendship with other people in a similar world, because I'm not someone that's got a big circle of friends by any shape, and this program's giving me a feeling of that, which is fantastic. So yeah,
which is great. We hear the same thing from every guy says the exact same thing, right? I wish I would have started sooner, right? It's kind of like exercising, right? I wish I would have started running earlier, because man, where would I be today?
Yeah, definitely. And one of the other things I've taken from there is the thing about the kind of example I want to set to my kids, because I've got 4 kids, 3 of them are boys, and I realized from this that my dad didn't tell me any of this stuff because he didn't know any of it.
Yeah.
And one of the things I've seen is that I've been making a lot of the mistakes that he made in his marriage and working life and relationships and stuff. And all the time I always said, I don't want to repeat his mistakes. I think I was unwittingly going down the same path without realizing it. But now I can see that there's things I need to teach my boys, particularly my eldest 2 who are teenagers. There's so much I can show them from this that hopefully will mean that they won't be going in 20, 30 years time, oh God, I wish I'd known that.
Yeah.
Because I'd like to think that I've had a chance to teach them. So, that's important to me, really important to me too. And for my daughter as well. So that she can see, somebody that she admires and looks up to, which I know, again, with my dad, I know my sister looks up to him particularly highly. So, it's important for me.
Well, it is. And I'll tell you right now, your kids are watching, right? The kids they're amazing, right? They're always, and they're going to watch the good things, the bad things, indifferent, whatever it is, but you're showing them a role model of what it means, to step into courage. Like you mentioned David Goggins, who's awesome, right? But you're consistently stepping outside your comfort zone. And that's why you're getting so much growth with all areas of your life and your business. And they're growing up with a father who is an entrepreneur, a businessman, a great husband, a great role model, someone who's taking care of his health, prioritizing himself. They're watching this. And I bet you that they're changing their behaviors subtly just because the leader of the house is there. And the leader of the house is taking charge in his own way and is showing by example, not just by talk.
Yeah, no, it works. And in fact, I was having a conversation this morning about morning routines with one of the guys in the brotherhood, and about how I've had to break mine up because my youngest 2 are ready for. They're running around every morning. You know what it's like from the crack of dawn. And I had to build my routine in so that I can do it in and around them. But one of the positives is that they see me doing it. I'm not just taking myself away for an hour or so to do that. They're in and around me doing the exercises, and you saw the video of my daughter on my back while I was trying to do some press-ups. I didn't ask her to do that, but she just decided to get involved. But that's great because she's seeing, they're seeing the importance of taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
It's a strong message. It's really good.
It's a very strong message, and loving yourselves, right? So they learn to love, which every parent, I don't care who you are, you want your kids to walk away with a sense of feeling loved by you, but just by themselves as they go out into the world. And what a better way to represent that by them seeing their role model, their father, doing it for himself.
Yeah. Yeah. The best way. Definitely.
Absolutely amazing. Stephen, thanks so much for taking time and to share your story, man. It's just, I continue to watch your journey, obviously, and it's just absolutely been amazing. And I greatly appreciate you. I know this getting on video isn't the thing that you do, but I appreciate the fact that you wanted to do this just to share it with other guys so they could get a glimpse as well. So thank you.
Yeah, well, it's important to me because I just know that other people out there that could benefit, and if I can help encourage people into the program by talking about my experience, then I'm always happy to share.
Absolutely. Well, I look forward to seeing you at your Alpha Reset, my friend. I can't
Likewise,
wait. Yeah. Thanks, Stephen.
Fantastic. Thanks, Doug. Take care.